different storm systems are bringing heavy rain to different portions of the country: Texas, the Midwest, and the West Coast. Flash flooding is a particular concern in Corpus Christi and Houston, where rain is falling on already saturated soils. Moisture from the Gulf is interacting with an upper-level disturbance moving in from northern Mexico, focusing heavy rain over Texas, particularly south of the Interstate 10 corridor. Texas Governor Greg Abbott directed the Texas Division of Emergency Management to activate state emergency response resources ahead of increased threats of severe weather and flash flooding in large areas of the state. In June 2025, parts of China were struck by some of the most extreme weather conditions seen in years. In Shandong province, terrifying winds, reaching over level 15 on the Beaufort scale. There are more than 300 road closures, with the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet leaders saying the statewide impact is historic. Bashir said that, between reports of mudslides in the eastern portion of the state and snow impacting the western part of the state, the situation remains extremely dangerous. Prediction Center to issue a level 3 out of 4 risk for flash flooding across South Texas. And yes, this is going to be beneficial rain, but because we have a pretty significant drought going on in this part of the country, when you mix this much rain at a time with a pretty extreme drought, you can end up in a situation where flooding gets really bad in a hurry, the weather meteorologist Ari Sarsalari said. Please plan ahead. Avoid travel and stay safe. Kentucky, Bashir concluded. The threats had been significant enough before the storm that precautionary evacuations were ordered along some rivers and streams in the Tennessee Valley, and shelters were forced to open. A nursing home in Red Boiling Springs, Tennessee, near the state border with Kentucky, was evacuated out of an abundance of caution, and water rescues were ongoing around the Hurley, Virginia area. Ripped through towns, overturning trucks, breaking cranes, and tearing apart buildings. Streets were thrown into chaos as glass shattered from high-rise windows and pieces of concrete rained from above. In the city of Xinzhou, a construction crane snapped in half under the sheer force of the wind. A truck was flipped in the middle of the road, blocking traffic and causing panic among drivers. The gale was so violent that the exterior walls of buildings were stripped like paper, and pieces of insulation and plaster scattered through the air. Do not be on the roadways unless it's an emergency, or you've been evacuated and heading to shelter.
Water still clean.
Rainfall has lightened up or ended in many areas, but the flooding threat will continue into the new work week as several rivers remain high and are not expected to crest for several days. most shocking moments was captured on surveillance footage outside a restaurant. Zhang Yongxiang, an 18-year-old employee at Binzhou Tianmu Barbecue Hot Pot City, was helping clean up outdoor tables and chairs when a sudden blast of wind lifted him into the air. Despite weighing over 200 pounds, he was tossed backward and slammed into the ground. The Clay County, Kentucky, coroner's office reported that a 73-year-old man from the Bluegrass State was found dead in the Horse Creek area of Clay County after reportedly getting knocked off his feet by rushing water while exiting his vehicle around Highway 80. Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear issued a state of emergency for the Commonwealth before the weather, and on Saturday night, he said he wrote to President Donald Trump requesting an emergency disaster declaration because of the impacts across the state. The terrible floods hit Hunan province again, causing many houses to collapse into the water. The streets were flooded like a sea. Residential areas were submerged in mud. Cars were swept away by the water beyond rescue. The most dangerous thing was that the Hunan University of Traditional Chinese Medicine Hospital and dormitory were flooded, causing concerns about the spread of the virus. NOAA's Weather Prediction Center issued its most dire level 4 flash flood threat rating of extreme for parts of northwestern Tennessee and southwestern Kentucky, but it was communities along the West Virginia border that appeared to be the hardest hit by the flooding. Several rare flash flood emergencies were issued by the NWS office in Charleston, West Virginia, for communities around the border region as rain fell on already saturated grounds, causing streams and rivers to quickly flood. Severe thunderstorm activity dumped heavy rains on parts of West and North Trinidad yesterday afternoon, resulting in severe flash flooding. Catastrophic flooding was reported to be ongoing Saturday in communities such as Hurley and Grundy, Virginia, where roadways simply turned into streams and became dangerous. Several rock slides were reported, and Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin said he's deployed the National Guard, among other first responders, to the area.
Yeah, he's driving.
New warnings issued Saturday night predicted peak dangers from midnight to 3 a.m. Sunday for Waverly, Waynesboro, and Clarksville. The warning lessens, but extends to 5 a.m. Sunday.
हाँ रुक जाएगा अरे पर रहेगी अरे वो आगे वो गाड़ी अरे वो आदमी निकला वो आदमी क्या सर अरे वो आदमी निकला उसमें आदमी फंसो
Flash flooding occurred in Barataria, San Juan, as well as the western main road in Corinage and Glencoe, Marable, and Diego Martin. The North Coast Road was obstructed by a landslide. According to the Ministry of Rural Development and Local Government, flooding was reported in Petit Valley, near Street Lucian Road, Western Main Road near Shorelands, Cocorite, Diamondvale, La Siva and Maryville, and Morne Coco Road. On the night of June 7, 2025, all the people of Changsha City, Hunan Province stayed up all night to fight the flood. The sponge city that was praised here was completely defeated. People's homes were destroyed, thousands of acres of rice were flooded, rural roads were cut off, rescue efforts were delayed, and the community of 10 million people turned into a water cave in just a few seconds. Parts of Middle Tennessee, particularly to the west, experienced flash flooding Saturday. By nightfall, the National Weather Service extended the flash flood warning for Dixon, Waverly, and White Bluff until 11:45 p.m. and for Clarksville, Dover, and Tennessee Ridge through midnight. Blue Basin, Gittins Avenue in Maryville, and Saddle Road in Santa Cruz were also affected. Dozens of people took to social media yesterday to show how their vehicles and properties were affected. A video shared on social media shows fallen trees blocking the pathway leading to Maracas Beach, while another clip captures the murky brown water of the Diego Martin River near the West Moorings Bridge, dangerously close to spilling over. One driver, heading west on the Diego Martin Highway near Crystal Stream, filmed a flooded roadway. Videos continued to flood social media, showing the chaos caused. In one clip, a driver records himself navigating the flooded streets of Alice Glen in Petit Valley. The Diego Martin Highway was also impassable. In Maryville, the river had reached full capacity. Diego Martin Mayor Akalaya Glasgow Warner said the Borough Corporation received reports of flooding in Corinage, Alice Glen, Maryville, Morne Coco, St. Lucian Road, Chumamanca, and other parts of the region. Chinwangdao and Dalian also had hail and heavy rain, causing severe urban flooding. In Zhangjiakou City, Taday Province, at 6 p.m. on June 12, 2025, Zhangjiakou City was suddenly hit by severe convective weather. Strong winds brought heavy rain and hail, pouring down like crazy. In just 20 minutes, the ground was covered with white ice. These reports have been directed to our disaster management unit, and arrangements are being made to assist residents as needed. Filled sandbags are currently being distributed at the disaster management unit, 2 to 3 Orchid Drive, Petit Valley. You may also reach the unit directly at 800 DMRC, 3672. The broken pipes caused water to spray on the streets like a water hose. It was even higher than a car. People said that Zhangjiakou was flooded. It must be low-lying terrain, or the drainage capacity of the sewers was insufficient and the pipes were blocked. said the situation was brought under control, but blamed the weather event on climate change. You are looking at a worldwide phenomenon of changes in weather patterns with intensity of rainfall and the consequences that come with it, he said.
Don't forget to subscribe to our channel to stay informed about the latest developments.